Today I got Felecia Walker, author, paid on Friday, broke by Tuesday. To bring her up. Hi, Felecia.
What's going on, Cuzo?
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I know you got a book, but before we get it into the book,
Mhm.
could you just give us a little backlog about you?
Yeah, so I'm Felecia Walker, and I am the CEO of a company called the Focus Group by Felecia. And within that company, I teach people how to interview, how to answer interview questions, how to network, how to get the job, and then how to progress your career to grow your money, right? And just recently, I wrote my first book, paid on Friday, broke by Tuesday, The Pathway to Unstoppable Success. And what that book is, it is just about how I tripled my salary within 3 years and just all the things and all the obstacles that I had to overcome in order to make that happen. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Yay, go Memphis. And I'm a mother of 3 sons, and I am super happy to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to have you on.
Yeah.
So what was the reason, like, the process behind,
Yeah.
writing, the editing,
Yeah.
just putting all your thoughts into like one novel?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about in 2017, I was laid off from a six-figure job, right? I was earning over $100,000 a year. I ended up taking a 60% pay cut, and that was a tough time. I had to do that for like 18 months. And there was a time in my life where I had to put grocery back at the store where I couldn't afford to buy grocery to feed my family. And so it was that moment that changed everything for me. It changed my
Mm.
mindset. It changed the way I showed up at work. It sent me into beast mode, basically. And so I started documenting everything that I was doing, who I was talking to, the emails that I sent. I mean, I started documenting everything. And so I knew that what I was going through wasn't just for me. I knew that there were other people who were having a tough time and who really needed to figure out, how do I change my life? How do I do something different so that I can take care of my family? So that's how this thing all started, was me overcoming that living paycheck to paycheck and figuring out how to improve my life. So that's where it all started. Writing the book, um, I won't say it was easy, but it's my experiences. And so what better way to, write a book than about something that right? These are things that I live. So it wasn't hard for me to write the book. But when you talk about editing, that was tough because all those experiences that I had was like 3 years ago. I've changed. I'm a new person, right? My
Yeah,
thought process is different. My mindset is different. So I had to go back and just kind of change some things within the book, not the stories, but just how to go about changing your life as far as your career as well as your personal life. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's almost like, they're saying like the book was better than the movie in Hollywood because they take so much out and then they add just for
Yeah.
the entertainment purpose. So
Yes.
that's completely understandable. Just reading it would make it more, believable and catch more attention. Like I was reading the Terminal List, and I was like, that was like a novel I was reading, and then I'm on Amazon Prime, and all of a sudden I'm like, nah, this can't be the book. This
Yeah.
this is not the book that I just read. So I'm like, that's like the closest we're gonna get to something like, once if they do want to, pursue it for Hollywood or film. So
Yeah.
that's yeah, it's a
That's
lot.
crazy. That you're talking about movies, because I really do feel like my life has been a movie, right? I
Yeah,
really feel like I've gone through things that people can really relate to. Every time I tell people the title of the book, they're like, Felecia, it doesn't even take me until Tuesday to be broke. I'm paid on
yeah,
Friday and broke by Friday at 8 o'clock at night. So
yeah,
it's so relatable. And I'm not just talking about this is my experience, but I'm actually helping people to get over it. So it's a mindset. I don't want people to stay broke. I want
yeah,
you to get past that broke by Tuesday mindset, right? Even if
yeah,
it's small things. Yeah.
yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So without giving, all the tea of the book,
Yeah.
what would be like one of the favorite chapters, or you know how they have like you watching the movie or you reading a book, they have like that steady stove, and then all of a sudden it dropped, something bad happened or something good happened.
Yeah.
So could you give us an example that's in the book without
Yeah.
spoiling it before?
Without spoiling. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite stories in the book, and I'll tell it. I've told it on a few other podcasts. I was preparing for interviews with another company, another six-figure company, and I made it to the last interview, and they were about to fly me out to have this final interview. And I wanted to get to the airport like 3 or 4 hours early because this was it. My life was about to change. And something happened where I end up not getting to the airport on time, and there were like a million people in the airport. By the time I got to my gate, the door, Cuzo, was closed. The plane was about to take off, and my heart dropped. I'm in the
Yeah,
middle of the airport, banging on the door, screaming, crying, bawling, "No, let me in, please
yeah,
don't leave me, please don't leave me." It was just gut wrenching. And I sat there and I knew I had to call the company that I was about to interview with to let them know that I missed my flight.
yeah,
And I knew at that point that they weren't going to hire me because if they would have hired me, can I be on time for a job interview? Can I be on time for meetings? Right.
yeah,
So that was, it was tough. I was depressed for like a week.
yeah.
But yeah, so I talk about that story, but I also talk about what that lesson taught me. And that
Right,
lesson taught me to always go with my gut and not allow other people's opinions of what I should be doing like guide me, right? So
right.
to trust myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust. Yeah. Because I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I should listen to my first man.
Yeah.
Because it's like you already know it's like you already saw the future, like you just feel it. It
Yeah.
sometimes be energy. It
Yeah.
just be certain energy that people gives off.
Yeah.
And it to be like every day, or weekend. Just say like if I know this person like every Tuesday is in the crappy mood, right? So it's like, okay, come Tuesday, I'm walking in. So it's like it never fails. So it's almost as humans, it's like you just boom, just blow it off. And
Yeah.
it's like some people just want you to trigger and get something out of you that out your character. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and I already know that's why I be trying to interviews or anything. I
Yeah.
already tell myself on time is late.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. If
Yeah.
you on time, you pretty much late
You're right.
because
Right.
at that moment unless you're working for yourself, then it's like okay, you make your own time. But if you going in to punch a clock, on
Yeah.
time is late and
Right.
early is on.
Early is on time.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. That
yeah,
was one thing when I started changing my life at work and changing the way I started showing up at work. I started
uh,
showing up a few minutes early and I started staying a few minutes late. And what that did was it allowed for opportunities to happen between my manager and I before anybody else,
yeah,
arrived into our office. It allowed me to have conversations with my manager after everybody left. And that allowed me to build a stronger relationship. And
yeah,
that's what progression, whether you working a 9 to 5 or whether you're working for yourself, it's about relationships. It's
yeah.
about building relationships because a lot of times your next move is not based on what you know, it's based on who you
Yeah.
know.
And that's true.
Yeah,
But and like I'm in the position now, with work and then doing my podcast,
yeah,
for season 2 right now.
yeah,
Uh, it's a burnout.
yeah,
Some people don't understand like you get burnt out.
mhm,
It's almost like your break point. Some might be up here, yours might be here.
mhm,
So you just gotta find that balance, and that's the hard thing, finding a balance, with
yeah,
the careers and then personal life
yeah,
because you in this field because you got to support for your family and then yourself as well. And then also it's like the moment you lack something,
yeah,
that's when you letting someone else start looking at
Yeah.
another candidate, or maybe the job not for you. So you
Right.
start second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
Far as your book, I know you said you was going to the grocery store, you had to put things back.
Yeah.
Um, I see it here. I had to do that myself numerous of times.
Yeah.
Um, but a life moment experience happened to me. I
Mhm.
was at work, and it's even when I worked at the hospital, we throw out food, that's still good, but
Mhm.
you could give it to the shelters, you could give it to, the unfortunate families.
Mhm.
We still have, the soup kitchens here in Chicago,
Mhm.
but I was walking to my truck on my break, and the guy, I thought he was like going in my flatbed because I got a pickup truck. So I
Mhm.
thought he was still grabbing
Oh,
some
wow.
materials out of my pickup truck. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no, 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 bro, no, 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 no. I'm just grabbing food. I'm just grabbing food." But he
Mm.
was going in in the dumpster,
Mhm.
and he had a little child with him.
Mm.
And I saw him on the bike, and I'm like, "No, no, come here, come here, come here." And I
Yeah.
gave him $3. He was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And the first thing I was thinking, like, okay, this guy is like, I'm in Chicago. So
Right.
I'm like, this guy is stealing from you, or he's trying to, like, he just got caught and he stopped and he
Yeah.
tried to like blow it off.
Right.
But I mean, he was like not, you know, as we say, balmy looking, not dirty looking, but he was well like dressed and clean. So I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
He was trying to, but when I saw the little child, that's what made me like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I know in the Bible it say you shouldn't, feel sorry for something, but as human,
That's
it's
human.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's so yeah, so the moment that changed my life for this book was that moment where I wasn't making a lot of money and I had to put food back at the grocery store. I wasn't able to buy what I needed for my children. And l- outside looking in, just like you were,
yeah,
people would think, not her. No, yes, me. And
yeah,
it's so easy. It's so easy to slip. It's so easy to fall between the cracks, especially when you're
yeah,
living paycheck to paycheck. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and the moment someone says, "Hey, we don't need you anymore," what do you
yeah,
do? That's a scary moment. And
yeah,
so, people once they make it to a certain level, they don't always think about what it was like before they got to that level. I
yeah,
always think about what it was like during a time when I wasn't earning a lot of money, when I couldn't buy shoes for all three of my children at the same time, right?
yeah,
I don't dwell on it, but I let that feeling, I let it motivate me so
yeah,
that I will never go back to that moment again. It
yeah,
puts me in grind mode. It puts me in, grind mode to be able to talk to as many people as I can talk to say, hey, you can make it, but you got to do some things behind the scenes to make it. You can't
yeah,
just sit down and expect it to come to you. You got to get up and go get it.
yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
then also like a lot of individuals, when you say behind the scenes, they feel like, oh, you don't mess with me, or he think he's better than me. But it's not even so much as humans or as individuals that we think like that. It's just like you locked in, you focus, and you're just trying to succeed wherever your goal is. You're trying to achieve it in a short amount of time, and that's one of the things as humans. You know, we always want something right then and there, but a lot of times, just say like you blow up today, a lot of individuals like, oh, it happened overnight, but they're not looking at the 5, 6 years before that. And it's almost the same thing with everything, growing your business. And yeah, you might be doing good this year, this month, but what about last month? What about the 2 months before that, the 6 months before that? Like you was barely had enough to pay, your payroll. And if I'm spending, $600-700, going out, and I have to say that for like 10 months, a lot of people not even thinking that's 6, 7 thousand that you have. Everyone be surprised,
First
So
of all, did you just say $600 on the weekend at the club? Is
yeah,
that what you just
yeah,
said?
yeah,
No, that's not happening
yeah.
in the world. That you tell them. Why are you acting
Nah, it
so
happened.
serious on these people? That is not happening.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh my
Look,
God.
I went to the club with an individual, right?
Yeah.
So True story. The individual gave me the money because I'm like, man, in our terms, we effed up. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm effed up. He's like, oh, I got you, I got you. I
Yeah.
just got paid. So I'm like, all right, I really didn't want to do it. So that individual gave me 150. So we go. I know I
Kicking
only
it.
got 150, so I ain't balling, right?
Yeah.
So we in there, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, steady buying shots after shots, buying other people's shots. I'm looking. So now it's time to go, it's time to leave and go home. He was like, yo, you still got that 150? How much you got out of that 150? I'm like, just about all of it. I'm like, he's like, yeah, I might need that,
Oh,
to get me through the week back and forth to work. I'm like, yeah, it happens. It happens.
that's a mindset. Do you know what I can do if you $500 a week if I'm saving it, right? Like that is a mindset, but that's where it comes. That's where you have to find your people. We talked about that. That's where you have to find those people who are on the same trajectory as you, those people who want something different out of life. You got to find those people because if you find the wrong people, you can end up in the wrong place. You can end up broke. And I don't like being broke. I don't want to be broke.
Yeah,
And I don't want to be around broke people. So it's a mindset. That's crazy. Now here,
yeah, it
I,
it happens.
I like to dance. I've gone to the
Yeah.
occasional club. I have never in my life dropped $500 or $600 at a
Yeah, it happens. I mean, just like if you go buy like the normal bottle like Hennessy or Remy, it's like 300-400 bucks there.
stop
And
talking.
that's
Stop.
it's serious.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's like 300-400 bucks. And just imagine like if you buy something else that's real popular, it's
Yeah.
gonna be more than that. So yeah,
Wow.
it get expensive. And before you know it, because you partying, it's almost like when like you go to an elegant, restaurant, you sitting there and it's like, okay, they give you the watered down drink, they might give you a strong drink, and then you like, oh well, I'm not feeling it. But the moment you stand up, you just like it hits you, you like,
Whoa.
whoa,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's more like that. Like you don't really know because you're in the moment. And
Yeah.
then like when the reality hit in, because it's time to go home, it's like, okay, I had fun. You get to patting yourself down. It's like, hey,
Yeah. Wow.
so
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's
but
it's a
it
mindset. It's a mindset. You got to
yeah,
find your
it happens.
yeah, it
Or
happens.
some people might just be feeling good, in that moment, or
Yeah.
that's their way of,
Celebrating.
celebrating their success.
Yeah.
I worked 2 weeks or I worked a month, depending on how you get paid. Or,
Yeah.
when we get our taxes, that's another thing. Everybody go balled out. No one thinking about like, oh, let me pay this off or let me pay some up,
Right.
to so when it is time to pay or that monthly bill, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Far as that. Um, so I know you said you was on other pods.
Hmm.
Like, are you doing a pod tour or you just
So yes, the answer is yes. Looking for opportunities to be on other podcasts, but I've been on 2 podcasts thus far. You're the third one.
okay?
And so always looking for opportunities. And I see podcasts as a way to gain exposure. I
Yeah,
truly believe that my book, what I talk about, how I motivate, I really believe that it can help the masses around the world. And
right.
so I am looking to connect and collaborate with people to be able to talk about, hey, you can start small and starting small can change your life. We
Yeah,
all have stuff. We all have issues. We all have things that we're dealing with. Life is lifing for a lot of us, right? It's knocking us down. But what I talk about and what's in my book is how do you get knocked down 13 times and you continue to get up that 14th time? How do you do that? What are the steps that I have to follow? Is there someone who's done it before me? Can I do what she does, or can I do what he's done to change my life? So for me, being on different podcasts is just a way to be exposed to your audience and your friends to say,
yeah,
hey, it can be done,
yeah.
right? I know I'm kicking it right now. And listen, I love to kick it. Don't be with I love to kick it and have a good time and be with my friends and let my hair down. But there's a time and a place for it all.
You're
And I
right.
think right now in my life, I'm just at a point where It's about building legacy. It's about building generational wealth. And I know that speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
It's about building generational wealth. And how do I do that? How many streams of income do I have to have in order to make that happen? And how soon can that happen so that
Right.
I can finally breathe, right?
Yeah.
And get out of the hustle, right? So yeah.
Yeah. And I understand what you're saying. It only take one, like one to take off and succeed. Not so much like in our mind, like everyone just look at me like, okay, he got this, he got that going, he got this going. But at the moment, this might be thriving and I might be getting 110% to this one, but only getting 20% to this one. So that means I'm lacking in this business or this income or whatever the case may be, or this side hustle. So it depends on like wherever you locked in. And you said something else as well. You said far as your hustle and which one going to take off, or they doing that, they doing this. It's almost like when everyone's journey is going to be different. Like
Absolutely.
everyone is going to be different. So you might go through something that I didn't, or mine might be 10 times worse.
Mhm.
You know, and then we looking at it like, okay, we went through something similar, but like you said, you've been knocked down 13, but you got up 14.
Right.
As long as you get up, it's showing that you willing and you got the willingness to do it. You just got to believe in yourself and keep doing it.
Mhm.
But when you have that circle around you that not a support system
Right.
per se,
Right.
uh, that's what we take for granted. I was on, someone said like we worry about the 23 people that supposed to support us. Like that might be family, friends that we normally talk to on the daily.
Mhm.
But 9 times out of 10, those 23 people is not going to be your first supporters.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you got billions of people in the world.
Billions.
Look at me, like I came across the YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, I started looking at videos, and then you also had other entrepreneurs on there
Mhm.
promoting their business. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, let me go to our IG, and then I clicked. Then new book release, and then the title what got me. I was laughing, and I told my cousin, he was like, never. And then when I showed him, he was like, oh, it's for real. I'm like,
It's
yeah,
for
she coming on the pod. He say, so what y'all gonna be talking about? I'm like, her book.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite sure it's everyone went through it. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna tune in like that. But
Yeah.
we used to like just off the title, we'd go on for like hours,
Hours. Hours.
because
Hours.
everyone go through it. So it's
Right.
like it's a catchy title.
Right.
Um,
Thank you.
so yeah, you're welcome. Did you have any help writing the book, or is just 100% your thoughts, your ideas, or your experience?
Yeah, so it is my thoughts, my experiences. I started out with a course. I created an online course about 3 or 4 years ago. And so then I took that course and I started writing the book. And so it is my thoughts, my ideas, my experiences. And that's what I love about it, is because, I feel like God gave me this talent and this gift of being transparent and not being afraid to share my story.
Okay.
Because I feel like he took me through a lot, but it wasn't for me. It was so that I can help other people. So
Yeah.
it's definitely my experiences, my story, my words. Yes.
Okay. Because I
Yes.
know majority of times when a writer write,
Hmm.
someone give them or they have a secondary,
A
someone.
ghostwriter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
word for word,
Word for word.
everyone heard it like it's her.
It's
Cause
me.
that's another thing you would read it, then you was like, oh, well, I didn't want that. You would hear, the writer was like, oh, I didn't want that in, and then you like, so why would is it? It's in the book, and then
Right.
they was like, oh, it's the ghostwriter or someone helped me. They
Yeah.
felt like this would be more, acceptable or things in that nature.
Yeah.
Um, so
No,
that's
it's me. I
yeah,
was broke. I was broke, but then I started networking with vice presidents and presidents of my company, and I started doing things. And I learned. I used some volunteer hours, and I spent all day on an 18-wheeler truck learning how to pick up freight and ship freight. And so I did things that a lot of people around me weren't doing, but that allowed me to stand out in the crowd. So no, it was me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so by chance, do you know how to drive an 18-wheeler, or you just learn the fundamentals?
Heck no, I don't know how to drive a 18-wheeler. No, but what I did learn was I learned the fundamentals of transportation and logistics. Like, what does it look like for someone who is driving an 18-wheeler? If you're working for another company, what does it look like to schedule your loads, and how do you go pick them up, and where do you have to go pick them up? How long does it take you to pick up, 4 or 5 loads in a day, or to deliver 4 or 5 loads in a day? So it wasn't a matter of me learning how to drive the truck, but it was a matter of learning the details behind that whole transportation and logistics industry, and what the drivers have to go through, and how the drivers really do represent the company, because they're out there dealing with their company's customer. So it was about learning the back end of that part of the business.
It's like learning the back end.
Mhm.
How many hours did you spend just learning that alone?
Yeah, so probably was about 24 hours. So it was over a 3-day period. I spent one day on an 18-wheeler all day, and then I went to another state and I spent time over there working with their truck drivers and learning the business. And then I think I did 2 days here where I am in Memphis, and then I went over to Arkansas, but probably but between 18 and 24 hours that
18,
I spent
25.
learning. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So have you thought about like doing like on the road podcasting tour?
You
Or
know, cause I'll stop putting stuff in my brain. If there's enough here, I'm dreaming big already. But absolutely, I would love to do a podcast tour, a virtual podcast tour. I would love to do a book tour. I had my first book signing last night, which was amazing. There are a few organizations, a few churches who have reached out to me, so I have them on the schedule also. So it's
okay,
it's a very exciting time, because
okay.
again, what I'm talking about is so relatable to so many people.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
it's a lot, so many.
Yeah.
So even
You
I'm
put
surprised you said,
you put something together in Chicago, you get a group together, I'm coming. I'm there. I have
all
family
right,
in Chicago. So
hey, I'm gonna hold you to it.
hey, put it
Book
together and I am there. I am
book
there.
signing,
Book
book
sign.
signing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we got a Browners and Noble. I'm trying to see. I know it's one downtown.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach out
Yeah.
and make it, see if we can make that happen. And
Hey,
then
let's
you can see the studio and we can do it in person. Then they be like, oh, and we talk about the book sign, and then they be
that's
looking
it.
like, okay.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
So far as
Give
your
me a
course,
room full of women together. Give me a room full of women and let's do it.
women, all right,
Make it happen. Tell your wife, let's make it happen.
all right. Far as program your for the entrepreneurs and you helping businesses out and scaling up, is it
Mhm.
somewhere they could go find it or a platform?
Yeah, so that is more on a one-on-one basis. So I don't really advertise helping small businesses, although I have. I
Okay.
have built over probably 14 websites for small businesses. I have helped a couple of businesses start their own apparel brand, built their websites, helped them to put processes in place. So yeah, so I kind of do that on a need to know word of mouth basis. I don't advertise it, but just talking about the different license that you need to start your business, the different processes that you need to have in place, all the social media, all the digital things that help you to be a really good entrepreneur. I understand those. I have a team of two. I have two virtual assistants who have been with me for almost 2 years, and our communication is crazy. We use a lot of digital platforms to communicate, but we get the job done. And they are like invaluable to my business. Like I don't know, I couldn't do half of what I do without them. And so I talk about that with small businesses, how you really have to stay in your lane. right? Do what you're good at, and those things that you're not good at, hire somebody to do that for you. So that's kind of what I do for small businesses. I don't advertise it much. It really is a word of mouth part of my business, but I definitely do it. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, everyone hear that, like,
Yeah.
hire someone else to do it,
Yeah.
something that you don't know how to do, or something that, is gonna take time away from,
Mhm.
the business itself,
Yeah.
far as like running. Because if you're thinking about marketing,
Mhm.
that's all you're thinking about, but you're not
Yeah.
even thinking about nothing else besides marketing or how to get your brand out there.
Right.
Where do you have like somewhere like you the other listeners that they could go to get help or
Yep.
pay someone that's not, let's say like if they say, I know I'm not a millionaire, but I got a couple thousand, couple G's,
Yeah. Yeah.
is it somewhere
Absolutely.
you direct them to?
Yep. So they can go to the focus group by Felicia, Felecia. They can go to the focus group by Felicia.com, and you can go submit information and you can say, hey, I would like to work with you, or I would just like to have a free consultation. And that's where we can have a conversation about what you're needing, what do you see your business going, and what are you missing, what are those gaps. So you can go to my website, the focus group by Felicia.com, and there's a button somewhere on there that says free consultation. Sign up for the free consultation, and we can start the conversations. That's where it all starts. It all starts with the conversation. And yeah, I'm not out here charging $10,000, $20,000 to help people. I'm a small business owner, and I believe, and somebody helped me. And so I really do believe in helping small business owners. Now, I don't do it for free, right? You have to
Right.
you got to have some skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that, but as a small business owner, you gotta have some skin in the game. I have bootstrapped my business for a very long time. I've invested my own money. I've gone on trips, but I've gone to conferences, and I've invested my own money. I've invested my own money in building my website, in hiring virtual assistants. So I've done a lot of investing in myself, which is why I can't quit. And so, but yeah, I would love to help any small businesses. Now, we probably can only take on about 5 customers a month because I don't want to overpromise something that I can't deliver. I believe in delivering quality products. I believe in truly understanding what you're looking for, what you're needing, how you are envisioning yourself to show up in the world, and that's what I want to bring to life. So, but yeah, so reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I know you said skin in the game.
yeah,
A lot of individuals don't understand what that means.
yeah,
They thinking, oh, I gotta put all my savings. No, that's not what we mean when
right.
individuals say skin in the game. It's like they're saying like, why would someone help you if you're not helping yourself? Or how can you ask someone to give you $500, but you want to invest $500 in your own self or your own business? So it's more of that, not so much like you got to spend your whole fortune, your whole life savings. It's just come to the table with a level head, and if this is something that you really want to do, I really can't tell you how much, it's gonna cost. It's pretty much I can give you the numbers, and then you to dictate like, is this something that I really still want to pursue? Things in that nature. Because I know how to start LLCs, but more of like on the lower level.
Yeah.
But when it's kind of like scale, I
Mhm.
could do it.
Yeah.
But for myself, but not for someone else.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's good to have individuals that specialize in that, or know more knowledge or more knowledgeable than me.
Yeah.
And like I always say, like if I don't know it, I'll send you someone else that do.
Yeah.
I can get you here, but if you want to go here, I know someone to take you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more of that, and a lot of people won't do it though. They was like, oh, they start looking at the numbers, like, oh no, it's you never know. Like 5 or 10 years, if you would have done it 5 or 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and who knows where you would be at right now.
That's
And
right.
I tell my son, I tell my wife, like, man, I wish I knew what I knew
Oh,
now.
right.
Not you wouldn't have to go 5 years ago. You just say a year ago or two
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
and you like, boom, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's why I think it's key when you find people who have already created a blueprint, don't be
yeah,
afraid to follow them. Don't be afraid to invest, right, in yourself, but invest in a program that they may have that's actually showing you how to do something,
yeah,
right? So we don't always have to reinvent the wheel. If somebody else has already walked that path, doggone it, walk in their footsteps,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
even though you're walking in their footsteps, you're still doing something different. You're not
yeah.
doing the same thing because you're different. So
Right.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, all right, we talked about the business scaling.
All right.
So go to a website, y'all.
Go to the
It's
website.
free.
It's free. It's a free consultation.
Yeah,
Come on, get your money up. Let's go. Get your business up.
yeah,
Now is the time.
yeah. Far as like independent entrepreneur, you just
Mhm.
saw business coming out the woodworks,
Yeah.
and majority of them got the same niche. You like, okay, what's going to make them different? You
Mhm.
know, they selling. I'm gonna say blue skull caps, and they selling blue skull caps.
Yeah.
Now you have to pick like where you want to spend your money at,
Right.
far as that, and then it boils down to quality, and sometimes it's not even quality; it's just customer service.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it goes a long way of most of the time. So
Yeah. So I'll say with that, when people are selling the same product and you're looking for that customer to choose you, because I've been in sales for almost 15 years, people buy from people. So if
yeah,
I'm selling something, if I'm selling a blue basketball and the person next to me is selling a blue basketball, then we're looking for that customer to choose us. People are going to buy from people. And you best believe I am going to give the best customer service. I am going to be personable. I am going to be polite. I am going to find out what that person needs because in the end, if my competition is not doing those things, then the customer is going to buy from me because of who I am. In sales, people buy from people. They buy from people that they trust, that they believe, and that they like. So that's it.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's why Walmart and Amazon, like you don't even hear about eBay. You like
You do
eBay,
not.
like I'm not going to eBay, but back then it was eBay. Now it's like go to Amazon. Now they got the same day delivery,
Yeah,
so
that's great.
everyone eating it up. So everyone is eating it up. Like and then Walmart came up with all of them Target as well. You get it in like 2-3 hours after you order.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
great.
much the same, but
Yeah.
I still do Amazon because it's come right to the door.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. My book is on Amazon. So
Yeah,
I'm Amazon is my friend now. So yes.
yeah. So are you planning on like being on the bookshelves and like Barnes and Noble or
Yeah, I do plan on that. It's all a process though, right? We see
right?
books on the shelves at Barnes and Noble and all these other bookstores and we think it's a overnight. It's not overnight. So I gotta put some work in for a minute. But I'm not afraid to do that. So I will be we're on Amazon and you can look the book up on Amazon. You can go to my website and get the book. If you order through my website, then I'm signing, I'm sending you a personal message and everything. But I got to put some work in, and
Yeah,
before we are on all the shelves. But I do plan on being on all the shelves.
hit. I would say if you do in-person podcast tour,
Yeah.
do a book signing in that city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have them do like a promotion. Like maybe like a week or two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if you come to Chicago, I do it like on another episode. If we
Yeah.
book a date, that
Yeah.
way individuals that's listening in, the
Yeah.
listeners, they be like, okay, she's gonna be here. I read the book, and
Yeah.
also make sure you keep your book. Not don't come to the book sign and it's like, okay, you think you get a free book. That
Right.
happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought I was getting a free book. Like, no,
Uh,
I'm signing the
oh,
book. Yeah,
bring your book.
yeah, bring your book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll,
are you going to be on? I know you said I'm the third.
mhm.
When would be your next one, or you
Um,
you have any
so
schedule?
Yeah, so I do have some scheduled in a couple of weeks. And then I think I'm really going to pick my podcast back up because I do have a podcast called Career Conversations with Felecia. So I think I'm going to start recording some episodes probably next week. And we're just going to kind of go from there. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right. And where can they find you on social media?
So I'm everywhere on social media. So I am on Instagram. I am always _ Felecia. I am on Facebook, Felecia Higgs Walker. I am on TikTok. I don't know what I am on TikTok, but it's Felecia Walker. Look me up. Oh, Felecia H Walker on TikTok. I am on LinkedIn there as Felecia H Walker. So I am everywhere. My website is thefocusgroupbyfelecia.com. And there you can find the link to purchase a book, or there's a link for you to have a free consultation with me, and we can figure out how to take your business and your life to the next level. So I am everywhere. Follow me. Go follow me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully I'm trying to make that happen. In person, Chicago.
Chicago.
Maybe by the end of the year. End of the year.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to work something out. It's a few spots that we have here
Yeah.
that we can do a book signing and get everything together on the back end.
Bring them out, Cuzo. Bring them out, bring them out. Let's go.
And see, you just got to show up.
That's it.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I feel like we covered a lot. So thank you so much. Good luck with your podcast season 2. Let's go.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.